On the street, that's where we'll meet. You guys in Lower Manhattan that are sitting right now, I'm an ex-Wall Street guy. I used to be right there all the time. I'm going to help you out. Look, those far-right radicals, they have the Murdoch machine. They have Fox, these radical Hanley, Beck, Coulter moron freaks. They have CNN, they have cable news, they have CNBC propping them up, but we have YouTube, we have the internet, we have the same thing as the Arab Spring, we have the same thing as the Arabian Peninsula, the North Africa, as Southern Europe, we have the same thing. We are locking arms in humanity as workers across, as the 99%. It is so true. Look, they had 50%, the 1% wasn't enough. They had it wasn't enough. They had 90, wasn't enough. 99, still not enough. And the pundits throwing, look, I'm going to help you guys out. I was on Wall Street for years. I left Wall Street because of the corruption. I couldn't stand it. You people that watch my videos, that my early subscribers can verify this. I put up financial videos telling people to get out 401ks forever and ever. And I put up advice on what to do with your money. As far I outperformed there. I was a semiconductor analyst. I was an arbitrage specialist, a derivative arbitrage specialist, very successful. I used to manage an endowment and I used to manage a charity for the Lungs Association for Kids. I really did. I was a wealth protection guy. We're extremely successful. I watched the corruption. I watched these guys rob. I watched the old Bohr network of father, son, great-grandson. I watched it as it wasn't performance-oriented. It wasn't. You wonder what this hat is? This is Sesame Street workshop.org. I will not take this off. This is the metaphor, and this is the reason this is the metaphor for this movement. When the debate came all the way down last spring and it got right down to the nitty-gritty, right down to the backstory of the world, what did the far right want to pull the plug on? PBS. What did pull the plug on? The food inspection, right as the corporate media circled the wagons, as plutonium was spraying down over the top of us, as they did the same thing in the Gulf, as they annihilated the freaking Gulf, burned the mammals, wouldn't even let media in there because the media has been taken. It has been taken by Murdoch, and he owns it all. And CNBC's even, CNBC's propaganda machine, Fox's and CNN's even jumped onto it. It's pathetic. But you guys, I want to help you out down there. Look, you're right down there. I hope to be there soon. But look, I'm going to help you out. You're right there where you're at, right there in the park, right around the corner. I attend church at the Trinity Church every Christmas. I'm in that church. I know that ferry like the back of my hand. Alexander Hamilton's buried right there. I'll put up the video right there I shot there last Christmas. Look. Go tell the story right there. Shoot videos right there. March over there. March over to Washington Square. Look, it's 100 years from the shirtwaist fire. A bunch of us vloggers tried to move this forward then. As soon as I turn this off, I'll put up this whole entirety of this poem that I wrote about. And I put up videos on the shirtwaist. It's history repeating itself. Let me tell you, if this guy doesn't sound familiar, you guys in Lower Manhattan. And to you cops, hear up. Listen up to the cops. They burned to death and jumped to death in a passive thrust to life to watch their children live, to watch their grandchildren live, to hope their children's eyes, to watch their grandchildren live. They were moms and soon-to-be moms and our future grandmas. They stood up to the pairs of creeps with sticks calling themselves law enforcement when they were of evil himself's best friend. The taking cash to crack a young woman's face, accepting cash to empower the tiny 40 sex organs of the small and all. They walked to the back to their brownstone limestone mansions with their heads down, not guilty, but they still had their walk. The Jewish and Italian and Irish and German, all Europeans, first and second generation girls, 15, 16, 17, 23, their boyfriend's last embrace, popular opinion and 40 self-awareness, masking and contempt with a greenback. As a club, with an arrogant idealism as a funny religion, they die. But unlike the brown exploitative today, and the working masses of brown, yellow, of brownish, blackish, white, of whitish brown, of poor. They lived on via the young women. They changed the world. The girls of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire changed the world for the better. Look, that's been 100 years. I'll put that whole poem up. That's been 100 years right now. This is history repeating itself. Look, to the cops, to the firemen, to the school teacher, to the software engineer, to the unemployed student, to the construction worker. I'm a plasterer. Look, we need to lock arms in the picket lines of humanity. We have been betrayed. The far-right radicals, you have Hanley and these guys are freaking off in La-La-ville. They can have it. You can have cable media. And all you guys that threw your hat in the ring and made fun of this whole movement and this labor movement that has been boiling for 40 years. Look, nominal wages have been decreased for 40 years. I say it like this. When Reagan became president, he took a big old club and he smacked labor, knocked them to their knees. As they tried to get up, H. Bush indicted them. as they were indicted, they turned to the most progressive man they could find, who was like the progressives from like Truman, like FDR, like Kennedy, who fought for labor, who created the strongest middle class in the history of the world from 1945 to 90. They turned to him. He said he was the next Kennedy, and they elected him. And he turns to the contract on America with Gingrich. And instead of freaking locking arms with us, he goes right to Wall Street with them, and he joins on it. He betrayed us, and he signs our death warrant. He signs our death warrant. And then W comes in, he marches us to Huntsville, and right as they're ready to execute us and gas us, they trick us through their fake patriotism, the fake freaking religion, their fake faith. They fool us all. Right as they take us and march there, we ask for 11th hour reprieve as the corporations steal the Supreme Court. We ask for a reprieve, and so we elect the most progressive man we could find, and he just turns his head on us and betrays us and lets them execute us. This is about labor. This is about workers. This is about the hotel maid worker. This is about the sewer trencher, the window washer, all the way. This is all of us, every one of us, everybody. You guys sitting there in Lower Manhattan, freaking tell that story. Tell that story the sure way. And tell the cops, what are you, them again? You know what? I'll tell you how that evolved in 1911 in New York City. You know what the cops were thought of? And that created the 19th Amendment. And look, to you far so-called progressives and you movie stars, they call, you know, get a fucking move on, motherfuckers. You ain't done shit for us. Just like that fuckhead right here, Redford, who acts like he's this progressive, and he turns his, turns into his elite fucking staff. Fuck him. I tell him that, put this in your fucking filth festival, you phony fuckers. That's right where it's at, right there. Look, that school right there is one of the first WPA schools ever built in the country. These morons want to tear it down. These are the same people that want to repeal the 17th Amendment of the Constitution. Don't even know what the 19th is. Look, this is about ignorance. I want to show you something. That is Bobby Kennedy right here. I shook his hand that day. That is March 29, 1968, just 6 days before he announced to the world that Martin Luther King had been killed. 100 days exactly to his assassination when this progressive movement. Look, from the day he was killed, the progressive movement has been smashed down. This has been nothing but redistribution of wealth. This has been nothing. Ship our jobs to China so we can split with Chinese children being exploited labor. Walmart are slave owners. Walmart is slave owners as they freaking annihilate. I tell everybody like this, look, as you're driving, you want to go to the record store, you want to go to the butcher, you're going to go to the tailor. And I know it's metaphorical, I'm talking. Look, I want to read you something. This is the book I wrote last year, my predecessor, the book I just finished, about the Fed, about a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, this is my metaphor to the last 15 years. The reality to all this is plain. Ignorance and hate is bred by two. The male provides the hate. Rowe, Bremer, Wolfowitz, Cheney. The female allows the male to breed her via ignorance and passive arguments. The American popular opinion. The pregnancy is an unwanted child with a mother who is overweight, high and drunk every day all through the pregnancy. The belief in a yellow ribbon. The lazy, poorly educated geographical argument. And the racist view of Asians, 1946 to 1971. That turned to the racist view of the Middle Easterns. The pure lazy mother and aggressive, ignorant father have created the new, even more ignorant child. The American popular opinion, born not from love, born from angry sex in a crack house. The child has been born. It has a small brain, is addicted to anything it looks at. It is obese, it is lazy, it knows no other way. The child is ours. The parents refuse to raise it. $35 trillion long-term war. Lower tax, lower tax, lower tax. There is no orphanage to send the little creep to, so we pass it around until one day American popular opinion sees its face and recognizes the child they abandoned so long ago. They embrace the child and take the child in, and then the child in angry rage kills the parents, us, American popular opinion, in our sleep. Look, this has been nothing but redistribution wealth. Like I said, 50% of the pie wasn't enough. 90% wasn't enough. 99 wasn't enough. They want it all. And to the cops, why are you supporting these fucks? This, Wall Street is corrupt. I was there. It is not performance. Look, the lower interest rate, the Fed is corrupt. The lower interest rate has been nothing to been cut down to make stocks look higher and higher. It created the hope bubble. It created the dot-com bubble. It created the housing bubble. They impoverished us all. It is they tricked us into the 401k and forced us into the 401k for their fairy tale tax codes and laws. What are you going to do? Buy yourself diaper and Viagra? I've said at the end, they're going to steal it from you, and they always intended to steal it, and they have. Look, in real weighted value, they've taken 85%. It is corrupt. I watched the corruption. Spitzer, I went to him when I was in Lower Manhattan. He tried. They teed his ass up. Look, this spring, and you pundits that have thrown your hat in the ring, and you cops, and you firemen, and you teabaggers, everybody's throwing your ring with the carpet. Look, You are the face. Look, the corporate elites, we don't know who the face is. They're going to turn on you. This is going to turn on you so dramatically. Cable news is done. Yeah, you thought you had us. You thought you had the corporate machine. Look, I was raised by a Special Forces Marine right here on this farm, who taught me nothing but integrity, who was nuked to death in the Nevada test site, who was as Semper Fi as they get, refused morphine on his deathbed. Look, my uncle who raised me stood on Mohomba Beach on D-Day, fought in the Battle of Bulge. My other uncle, POW fighter pilot in Nam, turned down a career in the NFL to go in and right here. I was bred with freaking integrity. I was taught that meant everything. I walked from $1 million a year job right there. They are corrupt. They're stealing your 401. They're robbing. The corporate America and Wall Street have joined arms with the Rupert Murdoch media, with both parties. Both parties are the far right radicals. And you pundits throw your hat in there, and you laughed at us. You laughed at us as this sprung up. I hope to see you soon in Manhattan. I'll be somewhere with a megaphone in my freaking mouth. Look, I've been on this. My viewers can verify. I've been on this for a long time. I've been saying this was going to spring up for a long time. I turned to post-ignorance, but whatever it is, the American Spring, the Occupy Wall Street, the Bull Moose 2.0, whatever, the dark beer party, as I like Chuck Beer. Look, and I'll tell you this one last time. To the freaking fake progressives who betrayed us, you far right are, we know you fucking phony fucks. As you smash down when the debate gets right down to the nitty gritty and you pull the food chain. Then when it gets right down and our backs are backed up against the wall in the economic debate, what do you pull? 10 million out of the food inspection chain right as Fukushima is spreading over the top of us and getting into the food chain. Look, and what did you want to pull? The last thing we have left, PBS, you ignorant fucks. And to you fucking far left elitist movie star assholes who we've lost every battle we fought for the last 40 years. To Redford, again, put this in your fucking film festival, you phony fucks. Stay tuned. You haven't heard the last of me, and I will keep this hat on as a metaphor. This is sesameworkshop.org. All the money goes right back to Sesame Street. They even want to take that. They even want to kill Bert and Ernie. Look, this is about labor. This is about working class. We've been smashed down for 40 years. Like the young man said, you caught us asleep for a long time. You tricked us on fake patriotism. You tricked us through your fake radical Christianity. You are fake Christians. Jesus Christ threw the moneylenders out of the temple. Look, I have a plan. Stay with me. And you guys in Lower Manhattan, I hope to be there soon. I hope to be there on a megaphone soon. We'll march over to Alexander Hamilton's grave. We'll march over to where the shirtwaist fire girls burned to death, where the gay pride march started, where all the great freaking movements. And this pundits I watched on CNN the other day who said, look, all the left populist movements in the history, this John Avalon said this, the left populist movements in the history of this country tend to just turn people off, and the right has always been a big part. Are you kidding me? The greatest populist movement in the country, and this reminds me to a T of it, to a T. I am a historian. I am a socioeconomist. Look, the greatest populist movement came from the left, and it created the strongest middle class in the history of the world from 1945 to 1980. You ignorant fucks. You ignorant fucks. You throw your hat in the ring, and you made fun of this. You laughed. Aaron Burnett goes down there and makes fun of it. Grasso on CNBC make fun of it. Kool-Aid fucking Kudlow making fun of it. Fucking Little Teeth fucking Joe Kernan making fun of it. All you fucks. You threw your hat in the ring. You're not one of them, but you support them. Maria, I'm in love with anything with $5 but aroma. All of you. You threw your hat in the ring with these fucks as they exploited and smash us down. You are the face. Cable news is so fucking done. Yeah, Murdoch had that machine as you exploited us and smashed us fucking down. But we have the fucking internet. This is the American Spring. Just like the fucking Arabian Peninsula and South Europe. We have the internet. Fuck you guys.